This afternoon, we have new information in the Delphi murders case. The judge ruled that jurors will not be allowed to hear about key evidence that really is at the very heart of Richard Allen's defense.
Yes, this is a big development. So we've got senior investigative reporter Bob Siegel joining us now to explain this ruling. And Bob, this actually could have a huge impact on the trial. Can you tell us more?
Yeah, it really could. This order came this morning with Judge Francis Gall saying the defense cannot show the jury any evidence related to Odinism, ritual killings, or other potential suspects in the murders of Abby Williams and Libby German. Now, Richard Allen is accused of killing the Delphi teenagers back in 2017, and his attorneys insist investigators arrested the wrong man, ignoring evidence that the girls were killed not by Allen, but instead as part of a ritual sacrifice by people who believe in a pagan religion called Odinism. The Carroll County prosecutor does not want the jury to hear about any of that, and today the judge granted the prosecutor's request to suppress that information from a jury. The judge said the defense team failed to show a clear link between Odinism, the alternate suspects, and the murders, and she ruled the court will not permit the evidence submitted by the defense as the value of such evidence is greatly outweighed by confusion of the issues and its potential to mislead the jury. We are joined right now by attorney Brad Banks. Brad, you've been on both sides of a murder trial, both as a deputy prosecutor and as a defense attorney. Help explain what impact does this decision in the case, what does it mean for the case?
Well, it's devastating for the defense side. I mean, they've been planning this entire time for this defense. They've been setting up their depositions, their entire strategy. You know, and as an attorney, whether you're on the defense or the prosecution, you create a theory of your case. And the defense's theory of this case has always been that somebody else did this. And they had a number of suspects that the police investigated, and they've developed a theory as to what happened that's an alternative to what the state says happened. And today the judge basically said, you don't get to tell the jury about that.
As we've seen this case go on, Judge Gall has essentially ruled against the defense and against Richard Allen on nearly every issue that has been raised. First, on the issue of ballistics material that was allegedly found at the crime scene, then Allen's alleged confessions, and now limiting what evidence the defense team can introduce. Some viewers are looking at this pattern and wondering, what does a judge actually look at when determining how to rule on these issues and make these orders? Sure.
I mean, they have to look at all the totality of the circumstances. Then they look at the case law and say, what does the case law say you should do? In this particular situation, this was in response to what's called a motion in limine, where the prosecutor is asking the judge to keep specific evidence out and rule that there was no value to it, or the value was so low that it shouldn't come into evidence. In my experience, this is a very rare or unusual circumstance to say, all right, defense, you can't present your case. It's not unusual for them to limit things this particular witness may say that would be prejudicial or not be based in some sort of supporting facts.
And I do want to ask you, based on these rulings, should someone look at that and come away thinking that the judge is being unfair, or is that not the case here?
I mean, that's what our Court of Appeals are for, right? If there's something that's being done where somebody's not being treated fairly, they're supposed to step in and take care of that. The attorneys do have an avenue here. They could ask for what's called an interlocutory appeal and ask the Court of Appeals to hear those issues before they go to trial. And that's an option they have to pursue at this point.
Brad, thank you so much for joining us. Now, we still expect Odinism to be discussed at the trial. Coming up at 5, I'm going to tell you why that is and the impact that could have. Again, that's coming up on 13 News at 5.
All right, Bob, and thank you both. This, of course, if you've been following this case, you know this is the latest in a long series of developments since the murders of Abby Williams and Libby German back in 2017. You can find all of our coverage on the investigation and the upcoming trial right now on WTHR.com.